Pelicans wrecked the Spurs 114-96. Here's our boy Stephon Castle. I don't know what game this is from, but it looks like he's doing a nasty windmill dunk. So you always love to see that. My first impressions on the game before I even look at the numbers, I haven't looked at the box score here quite yet. But after watching the game last night, just thinking back, I would say Julian Champagny started off great in the first quarter. I think he was 4 for 4 for his first four threes, and then he misses like a breakaway dunk in like light traffic, and he misses that, gets his own rebound. He's smiling, he dribbles out to the 3 point line, and he misses his first three. Um, didn't seem like we were playing too hard out there, to be totally honest. When the game started in the first quarter, the first like 5 or 6 minutes was some of the worst basketball I've seen in a long time, honestly. Both teams were just playing really, really bad. It felt like two teams that were both trying to lose the game at the same time. Like, neither one of the teams wanted to make any baskets. It felt like, of course, I'm a Spurs fan, but it felt like two tanking teams trying to see who can out tank each other. I'm just gonna say it. We're in full on tank mode at this point. If you've been a Spurs fan, I've been a fan since 1993 when I was born. I mean, the first from 93 to 2000, I was only 7 years old in 2000. So, take that with a grain of salt. A 7-year-old can only criticize basketball so much. But bottom line is, my whole life, I've never seen a more successful organization than the Spurs in my whole lifespan. Lakers have the 5 championships as well, so you can put them in there. But, just being a Spurs fan, my whole life, I'm only used to seeing us win. And, if you've been a Spurs fan for a long time, as well, all we're trying to do is win championships, and all we're trying to do at this point in the season is put our team in the best position, for next season and just going forward in our future to have the best chance to win a championship with Wembanyama, or hopefully win multiple championships. I know living here in San Antonio, it's easy to think, oh, we're gonna rip off 4 or 5 more, just like when we had Tim Duncan. I hope we do, maybe even more, but at least I'll start with one, at least win one championship. So that's what we're trying to do, is put Wemby in the best position with the guys around him to win another championship. And the way to make our team the best, what's going to make our team the best starting next season is just to finish off this season crappy. I hate to say it, but it just is what it is. We can push with all the guys we have right now. Comment below if you agree with me, but I think we can take the team we have now and we can push and we can make the play-in tournament if we really want to. If Mitch Johnson wants to play all the best lineups for us to win, we can push and make the play-in tournament. I don't really doubt it with the talent we have right now, but we're still playing our weird starting lineups. De'Aaron Fox and Chris Paul are out there together a lot again. I saw Stephon Castle out there with Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox, which should just never happen. I think we would all agree on that. They just all have redundant skills and they take away from each other. So, I still see that lineup out there, which tells me, we're not actually really trying to win games so much. Another takeaway just watching the game, Devin Vassell was cold again. He had one shot in the corner. He shot it in the left corner and it hit the top corner of the backboard. I was like, holy crap! It was really tough to watch. But yeah, I'll have to check the numbers in a second. But Devin Vassell had another cold game. Um, Comment below what you think about Devin Vassell. I mentioned last video, at first, at the beginning of the season, we're trying to make him our second option. I never thought he was that. I was saying he should be the third option. So we got De'Aaron Fox, slid Devin Vassell into the third option role. And at this point, I think he's going to be our fourth option. I think we should end up keeping Vassell. I think he'd be a really good fourth option, especially with the way his contract is structured. His contract is diminishing, so he'll become cheaper this next year, the next year, then the next year after that. We'll owe him even less money. So as he's developing and getting even better, he'll just be even cheaper. But but yeah, his inconsistent play has been concerning. When he took that three in the corner and hit the top corner of the backboard, I kind of cringed. It was rough to see. We'll get right to the numbers though. Real quick, I'm at a big 27 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 30 by the end of the day, and YouTube said they're going to send me a diamond ring for my pinky, so please like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. It's just flash in front of my eyes. Just watching the game, I thought this. I didn't think it was this bad, but looking at the actual numbers, Vassell played 25 minutes. He's 1 for 9, 1 for 6 from three. His three ball's been so streaky this season. He only puts up 5 points. I'm not even gonna really go over the plus minuses. Everyone had terrible plus minuses. 1 steal, 3 rebounds, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. It's concerning. Devin Vassell's play is definitely concerning, but I think I'll just chalk it up to him having a bad season this season. He's had a down season. We're incorporating De'Aaron Fox now. Even before we got De'Aaron, Vassell was still having an off season, but I think he's just getting used to playing around Wemby more. Last season, Wemby wasn't as big of a focal point offensively as he is this season. So even last season, Vassell had more. I don't want to say more freedom, but he was getting more field goal attempts. He was just getting more shots because Wemby's. It's crazy how fast Wemby's developing, but Wemby's offensive game has taken a big leap forward from what it was last season. So we've just been feeding Wemby the ball, a lot this season and making sure he is our focal point even more than we were last season. Yeah, Devin Vassell just had a really off game. He's been having a lot of those. I am worried. I said last video, that I'm worried. I made a video like 2 months ago and I said once it's like mid to late February, if Vassell is still being inconsistent, then I'll be worried, and he is still being inconsistent, and I am a bit worried. But I'll just chalk this whole season up to Devin Vassell having an off season. I don't think we so much shop him or move him in the off season, but I mean if this play trickles over into next season and we get into December or January of next season and he's still being inconsistent like this, I'll be more worried, but I went over his numbers in my last video. If you look over his numbers from the past, 10, 15 games, it's not as bad as it seems like. It's just I don't know, I feel like we overreact so much when he has an off game. Um Another thing I noticed just watching the game in the first quarter, like I was saying, I was watching the game. I'm like, man, this is some terrible basketball. I think we were under 40% from the field. I was like, man, we're playing like crap out there. I looked down at the score and we're up like 17 points in the first quarter because the Pelicans were playing even worse than us. Like I was saying, I hate to say it as a Spurs fan, but it was like two tanking teams were going out there and trying to out tank each other. But it is what it is. Comment below what you think. I'd say we are basically tanking at this point. I'd like to see us make it into the playoffs. See Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox. I've seen Harrison Barnes in the playoffs, but Champagnie and Sohan and Keldon Johnson. See these guys get some minutes in the playoffs and kind of develop our young guys with some playoff minutes. But best thing for us to do, honestly, is just I hate to say it, just stack up as many losses as we can to finish the season. I don't think we're gonna catch New Orleans, so just finish in the 13th spot. I think New Orleans and the Jazz, they both have similar records, so we're not gonna catch these guys. Honestly, New Orleans is not gonna win 10 more games for the rest of the season, so New Orleans would have to go on a big winning streak, and then we'd have to. The gap is just too much. We're not going to out lose the Pelicans or the Jazz, but we can slide in the 13th spot and finish there to get ourselves a higher lottery pick. Again, I hate to say it, but it'd be better for us to get the highest lottery pick we can, our lottery pick and the pick we have from Atlanta, so we get hopefully two top 10 lottery picks and just run it back next season. Push really hard next season to hopefully finish in the 5 or 6 seed because I think that would be totally possible for us depending on who we pick up in the draft. We probably will make some kind of off-season move. I don't know if it'll be for some superstar player. Giannis has talked about moving. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, but if we could do that, we definitely finish 5 or 6 or higher. Or just trade for another role player if we can get just one more strong 3 and D player. If we can get a big center to play next to Wemby. I forget his name, but the 7'2" center for Duke. He's just a big physical center. He would fit great next to Wemby because he do all the dirty work while Wemby can kind of roam outside and do his thing on the perimeter. Um, but yeah, again, it was just a rough game to watch. We already went over Vassell. De'Aaron Fox had a really off game as well. He's 3 for 16 from the field, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, the 4 turnovers, and the 13 points. Just a bad game for all of us. I won't beat up on De'Aaron Fox. We all know how great De'Aaron Fox is. Well, just a really off game for him, for Vassell. When Wemby's out there, he makes it easier for everybody. So we're kind of seeing what our team looks like when we play Chris Paul next to De'Aaron Fox out there, and then we have no Wemby. It looks like it looked 2 years ago before we got Wemby. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen this before. Chris Paul just who didn't have an off game. He's 1 for 10, 4 points, just one turnover, the 7 assists, but just a bad game. I mean, for almost all of us, I think Keldon may have had a decent game. Champagny had an okay game, but other than that, Bismack Biyombo, he had a solid game. Actually, a really good game in my opinion. 4. This is what we needed from him. We needed what kind of power forward or center we get, and there's one block. Only 4 for 11 from the field. I think Harrison Barnes missed all of his shots last game. I don't even know if he scored a point last game, so a little bounce back game from him. I'm really never worried about Harrison Barnes. He's such a veteran, and he's normally so consistent, so I don't really worry about Harrison. He had a Mamu sighting. He got 7 minutes. Missed his shots. Only had 2 points, but it's always cool to see Mamu out there. Julian Champagny, he had an awesome first quarter. Then he kind of fizzled out after that. But he hit the 4 threes in the first quarter. He was 4 for 4, 18 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Again, comment below what you think. He's up to his 20 minutes. It was weird because Julian was getting all these minutes to start the season. We're playing really well. We're off to a better start than we thought we'd be. We're winning a handful of games. We only won 24 games all last season, and we got to 24 wins, even before the All-Star break, I believe. So yeah, I feel like we're winning at a faster pace than we expected, especially playing Champagny because he was, 20, 25 minutes a night when we started the season, earlier in the season. Then comment below if you agree with me. I don't know if I'm making this up, but it seemed like his minutes just dropped off all of a sudden, just out of nowhere. He was doing the 20, 25, sometimes 30 minutes a game, and now all of a sudden he's down to like 15, 20 minutes a game. I think it's because he's just too good. Like, he's a really good role player for us. I feel like he has a spot with us in the future for sure. And we just played really well when Champagny's in the game. His plus minus is a 0, so he's not doing anything great, not doing anything bad, I guess. But he's just a solid player. He's pretty consistent most of the time as well for Champagny. Again, comment below if you agree with me. I feel like his minutes just dropped off all of a sudden around like December because I think we were winning too many games, and our staff was like, we got to pump the brakes. We got to go for these high draft picks because, again, would it be fun as a fan to see our young guys make it in the play-in and play for a playoff spot? Yeah, it would be fun, but we're not getting out of the first round. Let's just keep it real. So the best thing for our future is to finish low, finish in the 13 seed, get these high draft picks, and then run it back next season with that healthy Victor Wembanyama. And we'll probably miss the play-in, to be honest with you. I can see us finishing 5 or 6 seed next season. I don't think we could have done that this season, but we could have finished probably 7 or 8, if we really were pushing to make it there. But we just took our foot off the gas. Let me know below what you think, but I think that we're just basically in full-on tank mode now that we now that Victor's out. The Pelicans are like one of the worst teams in the league, and we just lost to them by 20 points basically. So if you watch the game too, we're not putting up our best lineups out there to win games. Felt like we were trying to lose, honestly. I hate to say it, but yeah, Champagny had a good game. Sohan, 4 points, 8 rebounds, a block, a steal, 3 assists. Sohan's always so consistent. Just what he brings defensively doesn't come up in the stat sheet. So, I mean, his numbers were just whatever, but he was playing decent defensively. I mean, just a bad game for everyone. So, nothing crazy, nothing good or bad to really say about Sohan. Keldon Johnson, 18 points, 3 assists, the 1 steal, 7 for 9. So, I mean, Keldon had a good game. I don't know if Keldon's going to be in our future, just to be honest. I don't so much see where he fits on our team unless we brought him off as like the 6th man and he was just coming in as a spark plug off the bench. I feel like that's where his best fit is. He just gets so much tunnel vision though. Like say he gets the ball in the wing and he starts driving. You see the guy in the corner wide open. You're like, all right, Keldon, like that's the pass to make. everyone knows that's the right basketball play, and then Keldon just drives it in. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't overpower his man and get a layup, but in his mind, he just always thinks the best play is to kind of put his shoulder down, drive to the rim, and try to get a layup for himself. Not a ball hog, he's an awesome team guy. We love Keldon in the locker room, so it's not like he's just, well, like, screw you guys, I'm going to take the shot every time. Just that in his mind, he feels like, he can just overpower his defender and finish a layup at the rim. And a lot of the times he can, but nights where that's not working, he doesn't really provide much else defensively or playmaking wise and things like this. But good game for Keldon though tonight. Charles Bassey, he only had 6 minutes. McLaughlin, Malachi, Blake Wesley got out there. I'm not gonna talk too much about them. Comment below. It felt like Stephon Castle didn't get a lot of minutes. He had 22, so that's not too bad. 2 points, 1 for 10, 2 turnovers, 2 assists. Just a terrible game for Castle. We'll just call it what it is. Just a really bad game. But he should be playing 30, 35 minutes every single night, in my opinion. There's no reason not to play him minutes. The number one goal, I feel like, for us as a team to finish out this season is develop Stephon Castle. That's the number one goal. So he should never get less than 30 minutes a game. He should basically run the point guard. Is Chris Paul better at running the offense than Stephon Castle? Yes. But Stephon Castle should always be out there with Chris Paul. If Stephon's not the one running the point, he's watching Chris Paul do it in real time and just learning from Chris Paul. So you've already seen how much Stephon Castle's improved from the beginning of the season until now, just playing next to Chris Paul. But yeah, terrible game. Let me know below what you think. It makes no sense. Our number one goal should be to play Stephon Castle 30 minutes or more a game and just let him develop as much as he can, because we're not trying to develop Chris Paul. He's not going to be on the team. Probably not even next season. I don't know. We'll see if he is or isn't. I really doubt that he'll be on our team next season because, De'Aaron Fox is going to be our full-time starting point guard. We need him to get all of his reps. We don't need him to play next to Chris Paul. That's a tanking recipe as far as I'm concerned. And, just let Stephon Castle develop more. Stephon Castle's development, De'Aaron Fox just getting more comfortable playing around the guys, and then just further developing Vassell, Champagnie. You know what I mean? Those should be like our main goals. Sohan, further developing these guys. But, playing Stephon Castle 22 minutes off the bench just doesn't make any sense to me. He's a young guy. He's not injured or anything. Let him play 30 plus minutes and let him develop. I just don't understand why we're not letting Stephon Castle get minutes. Maybe it comes back to my point earlier, like why Champagnie's not getting a lot of minutes. Maybe Castle's just too good. If we're playing him 30 plus minutes a game, we might accidentally win some games that we were trying to lose. Again, I hate talking about tanking, but kind of just is what it is. It's hard for anyone to convince me that we're not at this point. If you think we're playing the best possible lineups to win games, please comment below why you think, De'Aaron Fox, Chris Paul, and Stephon Castle all in the game at the same time. Please explain to me why you think that works or how that benefits us. I don't think it does personally, but if someone has some angle or some take I'm not making with those three guys, like, please let me know why you think they would fit well together. Pelicans started out super slow. Both teams did. First quarter was pretty crappy, the first 6 minutes, and they kind of heated up at the end. I'll just go over the Pelicans briefly. I won't go over I'll just go over Zion. I'm not going over the whole Pelicans team. I'll go over Olynyk too. Olynyk was great. Kelly had 14 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists. He does just solid screens. He always boxes out. He just plays ball the right way. They were showing like a quick sequence with him. If you remember, he passed the ball, I think, to CJ McCollum. After he passes, he runs up, follows the ball, sets a screen. CJ comes off the screen, passes it back to Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk catches it, takes like 2 dribbles, dribble handoff back to CJ McCollum. Kelly Olynyk rolls, and I think he gets like an open layup at the end of the play. But it was like 3 or 4 different sequences. It was just 2-man game with Kelly Olynyk and CJ McCollum. And Kelly Olynyk is like exactly what we would need off the bench. I don't think he'll give you 14 points and 15 rebounds every single night, but he's just a great energy player. Just a great backup big man off the bench. Yeah, he was impressive. And then Zion Williamson, 22 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 3 assists, 9 rebounds. He's 8 for 17, 6 for 10. I like Zion. He's entertaining to watch. I don't think he's a franchise player. I don't think he ever will be a number one, a number one cornerstone franchise player. I guess the talent's there. I don't think his work ethic and discipline just isn't there. Um, Here, let's see real quick. I was seeing something just a second ago. Okay, right here. Again, I'm not being a Zion Williamson hater, but if you just don't, if I feel like you don't work hard, I'm just gonna call it out and kind of say it. Yeah, if you see right here, this is Zion in March of 2018, All-American game. So he was still in high school. Then Zion at Duke, like look how lean and just swole he looks. Guy looks like a beast. That's December 2018 at Duke. So that was 7 years ago now. So look at his body there. Then we come all the way down. Here he is today. I mean, here he is in 2023. He looks way bigger. Yeah, you see how slim and just lean he was at Duke. Right there in 2022, he was really big back then. And yeah, February. This is this month. Looks like he's leaning out again. Honestly, he doesn't look too bad, but I think they have him 270 right now. But if Zion cut down to 250, because he probably was about 250 or so. Again, back in that, he's probably 255 or so right here, maybe 260. I think they said he was 265 right now, but he looked like he was maybe 275 or so on the court. But if he just loses that weight and he just has the discipline to diet and lose the weight, he'll be a top 10 player in the NBA probably. He just needs to keep that weight off of his joints with how explosive his play style is. It's not doesn't necessarily have the body to last very long in the NBA with all the impact on his knees, with all that weight. If he cuts up and loses the weight, I feel like kind of sky's the limit for him. But he's 24, he's turning 25, and I think it's June or July. So it's not time to lose hope and call him a bust. He's definitely not a bust. I think he plays. I don't think he's played more games than Joel Embiid quite yet, but he seems to be at least more available than Joel Embiid. So I wouldn't call either one of these guys a bust. It's not like the injuries have just, caused them to not do anything on the court. But, his injuries keep him off the court a lot, keeps him from working hard. He doesn't really seem to take his diet very seriously or exercising too seriously and conditioning. I never saw him on the court where he looked out of breath or anything, but it's just carrying 275 pounds up and down with you on your knees and then just getting so high off the ground and landing, it puts a lot of stress on your joints. But, he's about to turn 25 years old. Again, I don't think it's time to give up on the dude, but when a player's turning 25 and they haven't kind of turned around, the success of their franchise, I don't say I would give up on them at that point, but that's when I would say, just like I was saying, I don't think Zion's ever going to be a number one option. He hasn't developed any kind of jump shot. He's been in the league for 6 years, hasn't developed his three ball at all, hasn't got better at anything in his game, to be honest. It's just him using his physicality. He has the exact same game he had when he came in on day one. It just is what it is. Comment below what you think about Zion. Again, I think he's I was going to use the word promising, but, people just give guys too long to develop, I feel like. Again, not to say that you should give up on Zion and stop trying to develop him, but you should look elsewhere for your number one option. He's about to turn 25, just like Bol is already 25, and people are saying, for Bol, just give him a chance, just get him out there. Zion for the same thing, just wait till he's healthy, just give him a chance to be healthy. And it's like, I get it. If he's turning 22 or 23 and he's had some injuries, and they're 22 or 23, hopefully then you can get the diet right, do whatever you have to do, help them out with their work ethic. But once you're 25, I don't think you're going to change your ways too much. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but kind of feel like Zion's mindset just is what it is. We drafted Wemby number one overall just 2 years ago, and once Wemby's turning 25, we are not going to be 14 and 43. You know what I mean? Like, if you draft someone if you drafted the number one overall pick 5, 6 years ago, like when Zion was drafted, once those 5 or 6 years pass, you shouldn't be trying to contend again to get the number one overall pick again. You know what I mean? That just tells me that your experiment kind of failed. You got Zion, got that number one guy, and when you get a number one overall pick, they're supposed to turn around kind of the whole trajectory of your franchise. I will give Joel Embiid that credit, even with how much he's hurt and injured. He really turned around the trajectory of the 76ers franchise, which is kind of my point. When you get a number one guy, that's what you want to see. You shouldn't draft number one overall and then 5 or 6 years later be contending again. 14 and 43, so they're basically contending again to possibly get a number one overall pick. So when you see that, I say the experiment failed. If you go 5 years with your number one guy and they haven't turned around, the trajectory of your franchise. But yeah, back to the Spurs. Just a bad overall game from the Spurs. Bad overall game from the Pelicans as well, but they got it together late and blew us out by 20 points. But again, please comment below what you think. Hate to say it as a Spurs fan, but we're tanking again. If you don't think we are, please comment below what you think about the De'Aaron Fox, Chris Paul, Stephon Castle, all in the game at the same time combo. Let me know if you see something in that combo that's good that I'm not seeing, because I feel like we're just going to tank town, unfortunately. Please like the video if you enjoyed the video. Please comment below what you think. Please subscribe as well if you've seen my videos before, or if you enjoyed this one. I'm at the 27 subscribers, trying to push to 30 by the end of the day. Thank you again. We'll see y'all next time.